Not every book has everything you're going to want. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking you through some of my bookish pet peeves. These aren't always enough to make me put the book down, never read it again, but there are things that I kind of look at it just with a little bit of a side eye. There are things that I kind of keep in mind when I'm reading that if they pop up, I'm kind of just like, I don't know if this is going to ultimately be the book for me. There are a couple of kind of writing related ones, there are a couple of admin related ones, but all of them just kind of raise my hackles a little when I'm reading. The first one is dog-earing book pages. I cannot understand why you would dog-ear a book page when there are so many things you can use as a bookmark. You can use a bookmark themselves, you can use a train ticket, you can use a receipt from the shop. You can literally use anything as a bookmark. Anything that you have got to hand, anything you've got in your pockets, in your bag, anything can be used. So I don't really understand why people have to fold the page down to remind themselves where they are. Another thing that really annoys me is blank pages right before a new chapter. It feels so wasteful to me. I know that we're in a little bit of a climate crisis at the moment. I know that deforestation numbers are a little bit more than concerning. So it is a little bit of a raised eye to me when I see a completely blank page right before a new chapter starts, just after a new chapter has ended, for absolutely no reason. I know that books are usually printed in numbers of 8 pages, so if it's something to do with that, okay, I can kind of look over it. But when it happens so much, you do have to think that maybe this is just a stylistic thing, and it's just not a stylistic thing for me. Something else that really grinds my gears is looking down on chick lit or romance or women's fiction as a genre. There is absolutely no reason in this world why people shouldn't celebrate those kind of books. They bring in so much light and love and laughter and life to people's lives, especially when they are going through something a little bit troubling, especially when their head isn't in such a great place. Seeing people fall in love, overcome obstacles, find out who they really are. I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want to read something like that. Something else that irritates me a little bit more than anything else is movie tie-in covers. I have got so many books that I've loved that have been adapted into films, but I tend to avoid the movie style cover with the actors on it or with the now and Netflix special covers on it. I just want to have the original authentic cover to hand, especially if it's an illustrated cover. I really love illustrated covers because sometimes they can hold back on what the book really is. Some illustrated covers have hidden a particularly spicy book that you wouldn't expect. And I feel like if you've got people in like a movie poster pose on the cover, you don't have that little secret that you can keep to yourself anymore. Speaking of covers, something else that really annoys me is when the cover is changed and it has been consistent the whole way through, or the size has changed and it's been consistent the whole way through, right way through a series. I try to keep my series as uniform as possible. If I've bought the first book that has this cover, I will try and find the rest of the books with the same cover on it. And that isn't always possible. Sometimes, for example, if you're sent it by Amazon, they can send you a trade paperback or they can send you a mass market paperback, which are respectively bigger and smaller than other types of books. But as much as I can, I try to keep my covers the same size and with the same system of cover going on. I hate when, for no particular reason whatsoever, the cover is just completely changed, the design goes in a completely different direction, or the size of the book has changed for absolutely no reason. And I'm not saying about how books usually come out in a trade paperback before they come out in a smaller paperback, or when they come out as a hardback book rather than a paperback book. I mean when they don't intend to bring out that smaller size. I've spoken about it a little bit already before, but I'm not a huge fan of stickers on the cover that say, now a TikTok sensation, now a Netflix special, now part of the Reese Witherspoon book club. It's great that you can advertise this. It's great that you can let people know about this, but I want to be able to remove the cover. If they are burned into the book, if you can't even scratch them off, get it off the book. Something about the writing that really annoys me is miscommunication as a trope. And I know that it's used so much in romance books because you see this person thinks that this is happening and this person thinks that this is happening, and then in the middle you find the truth. But I hate it. I hate when two grown-up adults cannot sit down and have a conversation and talk about a fright that they've had, or the feelings that they're having for one another, or the things that they are experiencing in their life. I just do not like a miscommunication trope. And I know I'm not the only one here. I know so many people who also do struggle with reading miscommunication because it seems like such an easy solution. Something about the writing as well that annoys me is lots of spelling or grammar mistakes. And I don't mean if I'm reading an ARC, I don't mean if I'm reading an uncorrected proof from NetGalley or from the publisher. I mean if it's a finished book, has gone through several editing processes and several looks over, and you're still finding the little things that shouldn't be there, or letters that have been swapped around in words, or the wrong form of you or your, or the wrong form of there. Small little things like that can take me out of the story because I work with words for a living. I work with writing and getting things right and editing and sub-editing for a living. So when I see it in a book that is supposed to have gone through all of these checks, it just takes me out of the book a little bit. Something that I have seen happen a bit, and something that does put me off books a little bit, is an over-romanticization or a misrepresentation of Ireland. I'm Irish. I'm really proud to be from Ireland. I love being from Ireland, and I love reading books that are set in Ireland if they are done correctly. I know that there are so many people on this world who still view Ireland as a very kind of rural back country where we got electricity last week and we're just about to discover what water does. But that's not the case. We are one of the bigger economies in the EU. We are a tech haven at the moment. We have got quite a lot of European headquarters of a lot of multinational tech companies. So I don't understand how that actual representation of Ireland can be misconstrued for the traditional romanticization that the country goes through. I really hate picking up a book that's set in Ireland in this present day and they're talking about stone walls and horse and carriages and old cars that you could probably only go about 50 kilometers an hour in. It's just not the country that I know. Something that is mildly annoying but can be fixed is a lack of the blurb anywhere on the book. I've only seen it maybe 2 or 3 times where I've picked up a book and read the back cover, the inside cover flaps, and there was nothing to give away what the book was about. I didn't even know a main character's name going into the book once, and I feel like that kind of draws me out of the story. If I don't even know what their name is, how am I kind of supposed to connect with their story? How am I supposed to interact with what's happening with them? It is something that you can easily fix because you can just look up on Goodreads, you can look it up on the Storygraph, you can look it up anywhere. But I feel like I shouldn't have to go through that extra step. I feel like the information that I want should just be available readily on the book. The final thing that annoys or irritates me when I'm reading sometimes is waiting for a library or Scribd book to become available. It's happened to me a couple of times where the books that I've saved on Scribd or the books that I have put on my want to read list on my library app haven't been able to be reserved, or will be made available by the 30th of April, or will be made available by the 17th of June. And that seems like such a long time when you're sitting there and you really want to read these books and you want to find out the story and you're in the mood for it. Because by the time that date might come around, you might be stuck in the middle of another book. You might be in the depths of a reading slump. You might not be reading at all because of things that are going on in your life. So it might not even be the time for that book then, but it was the perfect time for it back when you really wanted it, but it wasn't available to you. Those are just some of the pet peeves that I have when I'm reading. Do you agree with any of these, or do you disagree with any of them? If you'd love to leave me a comment, but you can't think of anything that you'd like to say, then just leave me the angry face emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.